Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's tutorial, I'll be showing you how to make this beautiful circle dress with gathers and side pockets. It is very easy to make and it's beginner friendly. So the length of the dress I'm working with here is 40 inches. Then I'm going to deduct the length of the gathers from the length of the dress. So the length of the gathers that will be at the bottom is 6 inches. So I subtracted 6 inches from 40 inches, then I have 34 inches. So the length of the circle I'm going to cut out now is 34 inches. To know where you're going to fold on your fabric, so as to avoid wastage, I'm going to add about 9 inches or 10 inches to the length of the flare. So I'm going to add 10 inches to the length of the dress. That will make it 44 inches. What I'm going to fold on my fabric will be 44 inches. So I have my fabric placed on fold because I'll be cutting both front and back at once. So what I have from the folded edge here to the open edge is 44 inches. Then I'm going to place the folded side of the fabric over like this to form a triangle. So I'll take the folded edge to meet the open angle like so to form a triangle. The measurement I'm going to need here is the bust circumference. So I'm going to divide the bust circumference by 4 and I'll add 1 inch side seam allowance. Quarter of the bust circumference here is 11 inches and the extra 1 inch for side seam allowance, that will make it 12 inches. So I'm just going to place my tape like this and I'll mark my 12 inches. So I'm going to mark the 12 inches mark like that and I'll connect my points with a straight line. To be sure that the line you draw is accurate, measure what you have from the tip here to the line that you marked. What you have on both sides should be equal. So I'm going to be placing half of the shoulder measurement on the line. Half of my shoulder measurement is 8 inches, but I won't place 8 inches on that line. I'm going to come in about 2 inches or 2.5 inches. So instead of placing 8 inches on that line, I'm going to be placing 6 inches because your strap is not supposed to get into the shoulder. So you're just going to deduct about 2 inches or 2.5 inches from your shoulder measurement. So for mine, I deducted 2 inches and I marked 6 inches on that line. Now from that point there, I'm going to come up about 4 inches for my off shoulder. You can do 4.5 inches or even 5 inches depending on how off you want your dress to be. So I connected that into a straight line. And for my neckline, I came up by 2 inches from the line. I came up by 2 inches. That would be the depth of my neckline. Now I'm going to connect that point to meet the neckline. So I connected my neckline with a slight curve. Then I'm going to connect from here to the bust measurement. I'm going to connect that to form my armhole. Next thing I'm going to do is to place the length of my dress. The length of my dress is 34 inches after subtracting the length of my gathers. So I'm going to place my chest line measurement on the line here. So my chest line is 8.5 inches. So I'm going to place 8.5 inches on this line. Then I'll keep rotating that to place my dress length. So I'm going to place 8.5 inches on that line and I'll keep rotating to place my 34 inches, which is the dress length. So I added ½ inch to the 34 inches. The ½ inch will be the allowance to join my gathers to the dress. Then I connected my dots with my curve. Then I'll proceed to cut out now. Before cutting out, make sure you take note of what the length of your strap will be. So for mine, the length of my strap will be 4.5 inches. So I'll proceed to cut out. And I'll cut the length also. And I'm going to slash the side. I'm going to slash the folded side. like so. Now I have two pieces, one for the front and the other for the back. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to cut a facing for my neckline and for the armhole. So what I did was to place a piece of fabric. I placed it on fold, then I placed my fabric on it. So I'll go ahead and trace the neckline and the armhole. I'm going to trace it on the facing. I'm going to trace the armhole as well, and I'm going to trace the sides also. So I'm going to place the length of my facing. The length of the facing is 4 inches. So I'm going to follow the curves that I have on the neckline and the armhole. The facing for this dress is not supposed to be straight. I'm going to mark the length of my facing following the curves that I have there, and I'll connect them together like so. Then I'll go ahead and cut this out. So this is what the facing looks like. I'll use this to cut out the one for the back also. Then I'm going to mark the point where my pocket is going to start from. So from the armhole there, I came down about 9 inches. So I'm going to notch that point so it can reflect on all the 4 sides. So for the gathers that we have on the neckline, what I did was to measure my neckline, and I went ahead to multiply what I have there by 2 inches. So I used that to cut out my fabric. What I have here is my neck width times 2, and the length is 5 inches. So what I'll do is to fold both ends. I'm going to fold both ends 1/2 inch twice, and I'll fold the down part also 1/2 inch twice. So I've gone ahead to cut out my strap also. The width of my strap is 1.5 inches. So I cut out my strap on fold like so for both the front and back. Then I added extra 1/2 inch for joining to the dress. So I'll fold in my strap on both sides like so, and I'll further fold it. Then I'm going to make a stitch on that. I'm going to stitch it down. So I've gone ahead to run my gather stitch on this. Now I'll place it on the neckline. I'm going to place the wrong side of the gathers facing the right side of my fabric. I'm going to place it like this. Now I'm going to use my pins to hold this down. I'll make sure I distribute my gathers evenly, and I'm going to pin this round my neckline. Then I'll also place my strap on that point. I'm going to pin down my strap on both ends. Then I'll place my facing on it. I'll place the right side of my facing facing the right side of my fabric. I'm going to use my pins to hold this down. Then I'm going to stitch this up from the armhole. I'll stitch with 1/2 inch following the neckline, then to the other armhole. So this is it after stitching. I'll go ahead to make notches round the armhole and the neckline before turning to the right side. Then I'll turn this to the right side. So this is what it looks like. I'm going to give this a good press. Now I'll bring in the back piece. I'll place the right side of my facing the right side of the back piece like so. Then I'll place the right side of my front piece facing the right side of the back. So I'll place my strap in between the fabric and the facing of the front. Make sure you stretch this out very well. So I'm going to place the strap in between. I'm going to place it in between the fabric and the facing like so. I'll pin that down. I'll repeat the same thing to the other side. Make sure you don't get your straps twisted. Make sure you straighten it out properly. Then I'm going to pin that down also. So I'll go ahead and stitch my facing down to the fabric. I'm going to stitch that down. So this is what I have after stitching. I'll make notches round the armhole and the neckline, just like we did to the front piece. Then I'll turn this to the right side. So the next thing I will do now is to measure the down part so that I'm going to know the width of the gathers I'm going to place there. So I'm going to measure around the hem of my dress. I think I have about 64 inches there. So I'm going to multiply whatever I have there by 2.5 inches. That will be the width of my gathers. Remember, the length of our gathers is 6 inches. So I added extra 1.5 inches to this to make 7.5 inches. The extra allowance I added is 1 inch to hem the down part of the gathers and ½ inch to join to the main dress. So I cut out 2 pieces of this, one for the front and the other for the back. So I've gone ahead to hem the down part of my gathers. As you can see, I've hemmed the down part and I also run my gather stitch on it. So what I'm going to do next is to fix this to the dress. So I'm going to place it like so, right side facing right side. I'm going to stitch this down to the hem of my dress. And I'll repeat the same process to the other piece also. Then I'll also go ahead to fix my pockets to the pocket opening. So I'm going to place the right side of my pocket facing right side of my dress. Starting from the notched point there, I'm going to place my pocket like so and I'll stitch. So I'm going to do that to all the 4 sides that I have my notch. So this is what I have after fixing my pockets. And I've fixed my gathers also, as you can see. So I also went ahead to iron my hemming gum to my facing. So I used my hemming gum to glue down my facing to the fabric. So the last thing I'm going to do for this dress is to finish up the sides of the dress. So I'm going to sew my sides with 1 inch. I'm going to stitch starting from the armhole. I'll stitch with 1 inch like so. Then I'll come in with ½ inch here. Then I'm going to complete stitching with 1 inch all the way to the hem of the dress. I'll repeat the same process to the other side also. We have come to the end of today's tutorial. I hope this video was helpful to you. Please do not forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel. And also put on your notification bell so you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.